Hola, ¿cómo están? And what is going on, guys? DarkScheme here, and today I'll be talking to you guys a little bit about the Halo Championship Series Pro League Invitational event that took place at PAX East this past weekend. And this was only a one-day event, which is a little interesting, but it was an event that was a little special. So this, like I said, was an invitational. 4 teams were invited. Those teams are including Evil Geniuses, Team Envyus, Optic Gaming, and Enigma 6. And the reason why these 4 teams were invited to this tournament was because they all have at least one member from the Team Allegiance roster, which took second place at the Halo World Championship Finals. Now this tournament was ran to find what team would take the second spot of the Halo Championship Series Pro League. With CLG taking the first spot, the second spot was up in the air. So this was kind of a nice event and a surprisingly nice LAN tournament to have. Even though it was one day, I think it was definitely worth it to watch, and I think a lot of the fans were very grateful for having this tournament to watch. And this was a double elimination tournament, so very interesting to see double eliminations coming back into Halo, as the Halo World Championship and the road to the Halo World Championship Finals was all single elimination with nothing but group and pool play. So the first match to kick it all off was Evil Geniuses versus Team Envyus, and Envy was able to take the first 2 games of Capture the Flag on Truth and Team Slayer on the Rig from EG, but in a shift of momentum, EG turned it around and took 3 straight games from Envy to take the series 3-2, and they were able to move on, and they knocked Team Envious into the losers bracket. Second match of the day was Optic Gaming versus Enigma 6, and this was a surprisingly good series for Optic Gaming. They came out hot, they came out on top, they played their game, they were all playing as a team, and definitely a surprising Optic Gaming roster. I think a lot of people didn't really expect them to do too well, but they came out firing. Like I said, they were all on the same page, and I believe that's what carried them to win the entire series 3-1 over Enigma 6. And even though Enigma 6 was only able to take 1 game from an Optic roster on fire, there is definitely a ton of potential from this Enigma 6 squad. Next match is the losers bracket match against Envy versus Enigma 6. And Envy, while taking the entire series 3-1 over Enigma 6, did have some close calls in both Strongholds and Slayer games. Enigma 6, once again, able to take 1 game from the series and make some great score comebacks, but still not enough to win the games or the series. Once again, I see a lot of potential from this Enigma 6 roster, so definitely looking forward to watching them later on as they improve and see them on the road to the next Halo Championship Series Pro League tournament. And the next match that followed was the winners bracket match, which was Evil Geniuses versus Optic Gaming, and in a surprising fashion, Optic just couldn't pull out a win, EG taking the entire series 4-0 in a huge sweep. Completely different Optic Gaming and definitely a completely different Evil Geniuses roster, as they didn't drop an entire game in the series. One game to highlight from this series is definitely Team Slayer on Coliseum. Insane start from EG with 22 kills to Optic Gaming's 0 kills. I think that's the first time we've ever seen a game of Team Slayer go up that high with the other team not being able to get a single kill. It goes to show how well EG knows that specific game type, that game mode, and really how much any real team, as long as they put in the time and effort, how well they can learn a game type and a game mode. So after this series, Optic Gaming getting knocked into the losers bracket, which would make the next match Team Envyus versus Optic Gaming. Once again, unfortunately for Optic Gaming, they were just not up to par. There was definitely something a little shaky from Optic Gaming, and Team Envyus able to take that series in a 4-0 sweep once again. There were a few shining moments from Optic Gaming where they were up in the lead, but Envy went huge against them, made a comeback in both Team Slayer on Truth and Strongholds on Plaza, and I think that's definitely a momentum shifter for them to win the entire series. Taking the entire series 4-0 is no easy feat, and making the comebacks to make that a 4-0 sweep is huge. So Envyus coming out really strong, coming out firing all cylinders, and leading to the grand finals of EG versus Envyus. Amazing and exciting series to watch from both of them. And I'd like to remind you, Envy, coming from the losers bracket, did have to win the series best of 7 twice over to take the entire tournament, as they were coming from the losers bracket. Evil Geniuses only had to win one series, which was best of 7, and the series score was close. First game was CTF on Coliseum. Team Envyus, once again, coming out firing all cylinders. They 3-0 EG, take that first game. Second game was Team Slayer on Plaza. Evil Geniuses answering back, taking that game in a 50-33 fashion, almost staking Team Envyus. But Envyus able to put up a decent fight against EG and an Evil Geniuses roster that was on fire. Third game of the series was Strongholds on Eden. Once again, Envy coming out strong, taking that entire game 100-43 and able to answer back to Evil Geniuses. Fourth game, CTF on Fathom, and this is definitely the momentum shifting game. Evil Geniuses taking CTF on Fathom in a 3-1 fashion, and it wasn't an easy 3-1. It was definitely a match that took a good while. Envy able to put up a good fight, being able to not let Evil Geniuses run a flag, get too many flag caps. Unfortunately, Evil Geniuses able to break those Envious setups, and they took that momentum through the entire series. And the fifth match was Team Slayer on Regret, and at this point the series score is 2-2. So Team Slayer on Regret, EG coming out strong, continuing that momentum, like I said, from that capture the flag game on Fathom, and they take the game 50-26, and finally getting that stake against Team Envyus. And the fifth and final match, this was the entire game winner. Evil Geniuses taking that Strongholds game on the rig, 100-15 in a dominant fashion, and taking the entire tournament, and the final series score was 4-2. Evil Geniuses taking the tournament at PAX East and securing that second spot in the Halo Championship Series Pro League. And that was the entire tournament. Definitely great to see Evil Geniuses coming out on top once again, and even more exciting to see this Team Envyus roster, even after a little while of being a team, putting in the time and effort and seeing it take them places. Definitely excited for this Team Envyus roster to continue and to improve, as well as Enigma 6, and hopefully for Optic Gaming. They do have a lot to work on, and hopefully they can get out those kinks for the next tournament and get a spot in that HCS Pro League. But that is pretty much it for me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick recap, and let me know if you did watch the tournament. How did you enjoy it? How was your viewing experience? And what were some of your favorite matches from the tournament? I'll leave you with that. And as always, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.